this is how to install our screw-free range on a corrugated roof. The first step is to grab your clips and grab the first big clip, and we're going to place that on the outside of the gutter. And we're then going to grab one of the trims and use it as a guide to space a clip every 5. So if you run into an issue where your 5th one ends up on an internal gutter, we're happy to go 4 or 6. So say we're ending up here on this internal gutter, we can go 4 or we can go 6. And then we just continue going 5 after that. So we can space them out if we need to. So next we're going to roll out the mesh. We're going to start at the edge and we're going to slowly roll this out. So now, so we don't have this sitting on the gutter, we want to cut the mesh. So we can spin this out and then we can go along this edge here. So the next step is going to be lifting up the mesh and leaning against the clips. So pulling the mesh down. So now next we're going to put the trims on. You better see there's no spikes on this side, so they're made to overlap. So to put them on, we're just going to put them in through the clips, which have them pretty nicely spaced out. You might need to move them around a little bit. There'll be a small overlap, around about 20 to 30 mils. So now we're going to cut the trim, like that. And we're going to have it sitting up right next to that edge. Next step is to put the top plates on. So these just clip down just like zip ties. You can push them all the way in and you just want to push them all the way until they clip. So the most important thing with putting these clips on is just push a little bit harder than what you think. You can see that it seems like it's all right, but it's still got a bit of movement. We just want to push it the next one and you'll hear it click. These clips can also be easily taken off with a flathead screwdriver, just by placing it inside and then pulling them. So this is useful if you ever need to move your gutter or you want to get inside your gutter at all. So you can see with this install, we've got a very small gap between the screws and the top of the mesh. So it's going to struggle to press down and get a good solid base to glue it down. So for this, we'd want to cut the mesh, cut it to the other side of the screws, and then install it like this. So it's important when installing 2mm mesh to create a bend all the way along. This just helps with the water going through the mesh. So we're just going to bend it back. So before we put these profiles on, it's important to clean our roof. So we can see when these are on, the Sikaflex that we use is going to sit just in that top edge of that mesh. So we want to give it a good clean. So we're going to grab a cloth, some soapy water. Mainly what we want to clean is the top of the actual Corrugated profiles because that's where the glue is going to go. So we want to clean them. The next step is to put the profile on. So you can see on the side where there's just steel and there's no tape, you can see there's a little lip to grab and we can grab that off. We can then grab this and the mesh is going to sit up in line with this, just on the other side of the tape. So we can line that up and place it down, and then when we get it in position, we can press on the top where the tape's going to make contact, give it a good press down so it sits down like so. Going all the way along the roof. Just lining it up with the mesh, lining it up with the corros and then pushing it down. So we've got the last one here and we can see it's not going to fit. We're going to have this overhang that's going to be ugly. We're going to cut it on the other side of the attachment point here and just cut it like so. Once it's cut, we can place that down just like that. So now that we've stuck down all the profiles, we're going to use our glue to go down in each hole and Sikaflex it on. So it's best to use a dripless gun. It just helps making it a little bit neater. at each of the spots. So then we're just going to go along and we're just going to keep putting the nozzle in, giving it a small little push, angle it around, see if we can push a bit of the Sikaflex around, and then we'll go to the next one. So now that we've got the roof stuck down, we can then cut the top of these bits off. So you just want to get as close to the bottom as you can, and just snip. So you can use a pair of scissors, snips, whatever. Snips are probably easy because you'll probably already have them on hand. Just go along and cut them all. Once you've trimmed all the spikes off the clips, you've finished the installation. This is the finished result when you use the Blue Mountain gutter mesh screw-free system to install mesh on a corrugated roof.